How many of you great people are aware of peer support? Okay, all righty. Okay, good. Are any of you peer support specialists? Are you supervisors of peer support specialists? Any doctors? Mental health counselors? Social workers? All righty.
Human resources.
Oh yeah, human resources, yes, yes. LCSW,
LBSW.
I'm sorry?
It's the bachelor level
Okay.
licensure.
Okay, good. And I had another social worker. Yes.
LBSW.
All righty. And anybody else? Social workers? And your occupation, sir, if you don't mind saying.
So I oversee social drivers of health, or social determinants of health programming at a healthcare agency.
Okay, all
So
right.
we address housing, employment, legal issues.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much. Anybody else would like to volunteer? Yes,
Work at a
sir.
rescue mission here in Muncie.
Outstanding. Okay, good. Thank you. You?
Street medicine team in Wilmington.
Oh, yeah. Wow. You work also with Beacon?
We do.
Okay.
I work for HIP, Homeless Mission Program.
Yes. KY.
Okay, wow.
Yes. Thank you. Sir?
I do case management at Lafayette Transitional Housing Center. So case management serving.
I just stole somebody from you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. Nick Cunningham.
I'm fairly new, or I might not know.
Oh, yes. He's a VA peer support specialist.
Gotcha. Okay.
All right, ma'am?
I work at Beauty for Ashes. It's a ministry of the Muncie Mission.
Okay,
And we're located in Alexandria.
thank you.
I also work for Muncie Mission. I am the CUP coordinator for a homelessness center and an emergency hardest to house shelter out back.
Outstanding, sir.
Work with the Copeland Housing Authority and the Housing Services Coordinator.
Oh, okay, thank you. Kokomo Housing Authority, Jackson Street Commons,
sir.
outstanding. And,
I work for the City of LaPorte Police Department. I'm their mental health professional.
have I met you before?
No, today is the end of week 4 with the police department. So
Okay, because you look familiar,
I'm also a Marine Corps veteran, but I feel like I would remember you if we. met
Simplify
at-
Marine.
Yeah, Simplify. I
uh,
don't think, I'm not from around here. Of course, about 3 hours, so.
okay, but you know what? I also, I work with, thank you. I work with,
Okay.
all right, and, some from LaPorte County also.
Okay, good.
Literally, it's quite a bit. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, what was that, Wednesday, I was at the Indiana Law Enforcement Academy.
Perfect.
I guess you guys probably gonna say, wow, well, I'll tell you a little bit more about me, but I'm sorry, Ms. Jenna.
No, you're fine.
Can I finish these last
Yeah.
3? Please?
I work at the Beyond Shelter in Greencastle, and I take care of the financials and also work with the ladies.
All righty, thank you. And,
I
ma'am,
work at the Grant County Rescue Mission.
Grant County?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm director of Thrift now, but I was also a resident and I work with a lot of the guys in the program and
okay, thank you. And
Community and Family Services in Hartford City, Indiana, and I'm the Human Resources Director.
thank you. Thank you all, and thank you all for being here. Please, Ms. Jenna?
Yeah, thank you all for selecting the Power of Peers, why peer recovery specialists are essential. This is our first breakout session of the day, so welcome. If you registered for a different session and you need help finding that room, just let me know and I'd be happy to help you find that. But first, I would like to introduce the presenter for this session. It's my pleasure to introduce Ray Lay from SMI Enterprises LLC. We do have full bios for our speakers that are available on Eventbrite, and then we'll send those out after today as well with the PowerPoint presentations. If you have questions, we'll be taking them throughout, so just feel free to raise your hand. And then we'll also leave some additional time at the end for Q&A to make sure that we cover all of those questions. And then, so everyone is aware this session is being recorded and that will be available after Development Day, probably posted within a week or so. So without further ado, please help me welcome Ray.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Good morning, sir.
Good morning.
Mr. Gijo, even though I know you, I asked everyone in here their name and who they work with. Can you please?
Sure thing. Good morning, everyone. My name is Guy Joe Gordon. It's spelled Guy-Joe, if you're wondering. And I work with Corporation for Supportive Housing, CSH.
Thank you,
Is
sir.
that good?
That's outstanding. Thank you very much. And again, I'm going to say thank you very, very much for attending this presentation. I will try my best to hopefully live up to your expectations and actually go above and beyond. Ain't that what we do, Maureen? All right. Jenna did give you an iota of my introduction. Please allow myself to introduce myself. My name is Ray Lay, and I am a formerly homeless, honorably discharged, retired, and disabled United States Marine living with a dual diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder and polysubstance abuse issues. For those of you who do not know what that is, schizoaffective disorder, it is schizophrenia mixed with a mood disorder. And my particular mood is, come on in. Come, no, that's okay, that's okay, that's A-okay. I cannot leave you out and or single you out, but right now I need you. Please, can you introduce yourself and tell who you work with, although I think I already know.
Okay. Frank Anderson, I work with the Indiana Department of Health.
Sandy, thank you very, very much, and that was a great presentation you put on. And you know what, hey, and now you came here, yeah. Okay, and please, I had started introducing myself. Jenna, my technician, for you. She introduced myself, but I'm gonna bag it up so that you can know who I am. My name is Ray Lay. I am a formerly homeless, honorably discharged, retired and disabled United States Marine, living with a dual diagnosis of schizoaffective disorder and polysubstance abuse issues. By the grace of God and effort on my part, it's been over 18 years since I was last hospitalized for my mental health condition, and as of today, 16 years clean and sober.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, thank you. This is about peer support, the power of peers. My peer recovery specialists are essential. SMI Enterprises, that is my business. I founded that business right along with a nonprofit. The LLC, it is a for-profit business. It is a service-disabled, veteran-owned small business and minority business enterprise. It has been up and running for a little over 5 years now. And it does a lot of good things. One of the other major things I do, I train peer support specialists. And I love it. I have the pleasure and honor that a couple of them have been presented awards. They are doing some great things. And, you know, I kind of like to think that I have too. And I believe that all of the peer support specialists are capable of doing some great things. Can we go to the first slide, please? Link to resources and help. Peer support specialists can link to resources and help to navigate the service world, create and or lead skill building activities. Approximately 8 years ago, I've been a peer support specialist myself, coming on 13 years with the state of Indiana and 12 years with the Veterans Administration. I'm actually the longest serving Veteran Administration peer support specialist I know in Indiana and probably in the country, official, even though I do not work for the VA by choice. All right. The reason why, because I live with a severe mental illness. I live with schizophrenia, a mix of schizophrenia and bipolar disorder, And I feel like my job is to live with it as well as I possibly can. And I think I'm doing a good job. All right, but because of my experience living with mental illness, homelessness, substance abuse issues, incarceration, I get that opportunity to work with others who might be experiencing some of that. All right, and I believe I've been doing that very well. They say serve as a mentor or role model. Let's hold the mentor part out. Role model, yes. The role model for the simple reason that there are a lot of people who they are hesitant about entering into abstinence, entering into a peer support role because they are hesitant about being a role model. But I believe that that role model aspect is one of the most important parts. The reason why I say that is for the simple reason, a lot of people who are now peer support specialists have told me, seeing you and seeing how you are living with your condition and doing the things you're doing, I want to do this. And yes, and we try our best to find a way to get them into. For the simple reason that, look at me. And I got to use me as an example. I live with the most severe disabling brain disorder known to man. All right. But yet utilizing my medication, treatment, and also a strong support system, I'm doing great. I was homeless over 10 years. I own my own home now. Okay. I'm clean and sober, as I say, as of today, 16 years. I even got a beautiful wife. Okay, and even a little dog that even act like he likes me sometimes. Okay, so I think I'm doing A-okay. And quite a few of those who I have had the honor to, not only those I have had the honor to engage, but also to train, they are too. It is something that, for lack of a better way to put it, I kind of like sometimes feel I'm not worthy of. But I have to slap myself and say, oh, yes, you are. Okay, because I try my best to make sure that it's not on me. Okay, and yes, as I stated, I also train police. I spent 7 years in prison. And 7 years in prison because I robbed a man of empty Coca-Cola bottles while I was in the throes of a psychotic break. Spent 7 years at the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, Indiana, and I was terrible. Undiagnosed, highly trained and experienced United States Marine, and unfortunately, I hurt a lot of correctional officers. I have the honor now to train correctional officers. I've been doing that for over 10 years. So, and I try my best to let them know some of the things that they might experience, persons, because unfortunately, I'm not the only veteran that has undiagnosed mental health issues. Okay, and I get to work with them. I've even worked with quite a few, and I'm very proud of the fact that out of all the ones I have worked with, only one has went back to prison. Okay, and there's quite a few of them out here running around, jobs, now homeowners. Okay, a couple that are also business owners. So I'm very proud of that. These are some of the things that peer support specialists can do. A peer support specialist is basically a person with a mental health and or substance abuse issue who has been through things and has started to make that shift. They are determined to make that transfer, that flip the script, as I call it. I hope I'm not talking over anybody's head. And if I do, please say something. I'll figure out a way to get that understanding to you. And, well, it's just a beautiful thing. And I'm actually missing my supervision class right now. All right. we have a clinical psychologist. I mainly practice from Router Bush VA Medical Center. I have helped them to create 6 jobs. Okay. And right now, I am creating another one, specifically justice-involved veterans. Because unfortunately, a lot of our fellow vets enter the justice system because of mainly that intersectionality of mental health, substance abuse, criminal justice, and homelessness. It's a heck of a place to be, but unfortunately, quite a few of our veterans enter it. Hopefully, we can turn that around, and we trying to. We are trying. Everybody with me? All righty. We also, this is some of the major parts that we do. We help clients articulate personal goals. We advocate for clients and our programs. We engage new or hard to reach clients and facilitate groups. We facilitate access to self-help groups and serve as natural supports. Anybody here ever heard of NAMI?
Yeah.
You have?
Yeah.
And you too, Mr. Brandon? I said that right?
Brent.
Brent, okay.
Yes, Brent.
All right, thank you, sir. Well, I am an 8-year member of the board of directors with NAMI Indiana, and I'm coming up on 2 years. I'm also a member of the board of the national board. Unfortunately, we are coming up back to our national conference that's going to be in person in Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I'm gonna have to miss it. I'm going on the table. I'm having surgery next Friday to put a stent in my aorta. All right, I developed a dissection and aneurysm at the same time. But I'm going to go on that table, you know, because hopefully, approximately 12 days after I go on that table, if the Lord willing and I'm strong enough, I will be doing a presentation like this for the Corporation for Supportive Housing in Philadelphia. So these are some of the things which I hope, now that human research support person, that's you, right? And you are where?
Hartford City.
Hartford City. You ain't too, on many days I went through Hartford City. I used to deal with drywall.
Okay.
All right, and many days I used to go through there. This is my
Thank you.
my card. I mean, you ain't got my contact info. That's my NAMI card. And as I say, I train peer support specialists also. I've trained a lot of them. Okay, I don't know how many are from Hartford City. I'm kind of sure it's some. It might be 1 or 2.
Yeah.
The name of the game is this here, though. Is your agency ready for us?
I'll let you know.
I'm sorry?
I'll let you know. Yeah.
Okay, all righty, okay. Well, thank you.
Branch out, so.
All righty. And let's say DBPSA. I know DBSA, Depression Bipolar Support Alliance. Okay. AA, Alcoholics Anonymous, and NA, Narcotics Anonymous. I have participated of the supports of all of them. Assist with community integration, which myself, I have also done, specifically with persons exiting or our citizens re-entering society from prison, which I did. I left prison July 18, 1986. I have not spent a night in a prison since. Okay, and I'm making my business that anybody that I have that honor to engage to start working with that person right then and there about that. Okay, give that time to your children, your friend, your brother, your uncle, your mother, your father. Don't give that time to the correctional officers. Okay, these are some of the things that I talk about. I get passionate, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm not ashamed of it either. You know, because it hurts those children when a father or mother is incarcerated. They lack that love. They lack that ability, that bonding aspect. And I mean, I believe somewhere along the line, we can do better. Things happen, true enough, you know, but all persons that do something, a crime to commit, to get, might possibly send them into the Indiana Department of Correction are not bad people. Okay? They're not bad people. Things happen. I believe some shape, form, or fashion, we can work with people and get them better. Liaise between consumers and non-consumers, interpret and mediate, provide the client's point of view at team meetings and planning sessions. All of this I have participated in. Anybody in here know about the ACT team? Okay, you know about the ACT team. ACT team is assertive community treatment, correct?
Correct.
For 5 years, I was the peer support specialist with the VA's version of an ACT team, the Ryder Bush VA Medical Center. We call it Mental Health Intensive Case Management. All right, we visited our vets wherever we could find them. Okay, if they was literally up under that bridge, it was up under that bridge. All right, but the majority of them are housed or going through transitional housing, or some of them re-entering society. And I was tasked with working with them, not being the snitch and go tell the doctor what's happening, because I wasn't gonna do that. Okay, but what I was gonna do is let them know, I'm on medication too. And believe it or not, I'm cool with my meds. I learned one major thing, talk with my doctor. I didn't want to be sitting over in the corner, you know what I'm saying? No, I want to live life. I've been living life, okay? Those persons who I've had the honor to engage, they're living life. That's the good thing. You get that opportunity to hire a peer support specialist. I hope you hire one that, and not just one. You're gonna hire one, hire at least two. Because I'll tell you straight up, peer support needs peer support. But for those of you who are also are therapists, please understand, thank you, I'm gonna say that to you, even though I've never had you as my therapist, I have had a therapist. And I've had a therapist, I still have a psychiatrist, I still have a psychologist, and I have a mental health counselor and a licensed clinical social worker. All right, and I make appointments with them, I keep my appointments, and I go in there and I don't just listen to what they say. I'm coming on with what's happening with me first. Okay, and I express that to those that I work with. All right, whether I'm training peer support specialists and or sometimes just like, I think it was Wednesday evening. I left the police, Indiana Law Enforcement Academy, Wednesday at 2 o'clock. And at 4:30, I had 100 psychology students, first year psychology students at IUPUI, and another 150 online. Okay, and I mean, as they say, we want to hear from the cat's mouth, so to speak, from a person with lived experience. And I mean, I got it. All right? I'm not proud of it, but guess what? I'm not ashamed of it either. I can't give it to nobody. You want some schizophrenia? You understand what I'm saying? You follow what I'm saying? I'm just saying, I keep it light too, okay? I try my best to keep it light, but this is a very serious thing. And please, any questions that you would like to come on with, come on with them. I love doing it because I've had a lot of doctors and I've worked with psychiatrists, psychologists, many licensed clinical social workers, and also other patients, okay, persons with mental health issues. April of last month, I had about 300 persons at Logansport State Hospital. Back in October, I had about 200 patients at Evansville State Hospital. Okay, and Indiana State Department of Health. My very first paper certificate had somebody's signature on there from the Indiana State Department of Health. All right, so thank you, thank you, thank you. I know Indiana State Department of Health embraces it. All right, but not as much as DMHA and FSSA. All right, but then again, you guys kind of like, well, you all work together. And it is great. It is great. I mean, to see that the angles, I can't say camaraderie, but the interaction, interagency action there. Because yes, man, oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm sorry. Next slide, please. Thank you. We help consumers aspire to roles which emphasize their strengths by sharing their firsthand experiences with their own recovery, mental health treatment, offering hope and reassurance. I do not work for the VA, but the VA paid me, sponsored me, and sent me last year down to Nashville, Tennessee. Anybody ever been down there to the Gaylord Hotel? Yeah, great big old hotel. 8,000 people was in there with us. I went for the National Association of Drug Court Providers for their conference. But I went to be trained officially as a veteran treatment court person. And one guy who I had also trained, he had already been asked by a judge. And the judge at Veterans Treatment Court in Indianapolis to go and become his coordinator. And he had also asked me, but I told him, I said, I thank you very much. I got a job. That's how I feel. My job is to live well with schizophrenia. And he is now working with Judge Soto at Veterans Treatment Court. All right. I love it. But also he's Army too. Excuse me. Provide services and interventions to consumers which focus on recovery by educating about mental illness and substance use disorders. And as a peer support specialist, I can educate about mental illness and substance use disorders. Ladies and gentlemen, as a child at the age of 5 years old, while on a trip with my parents to retrieve my brothers from the state of Mississippi, we were involved in a car accident and I went from the backseat through the windshield. I was rendered unconscious for 3 weeks. When I regained consciousness is when I began hearing, seeing, and interacting with what I came to know as my guardian angel. I interacted with my guardian angel, committing an abundant amount of antisocial acts. Until at the age of 15, I was court committed to a state-run mental institution. Today, that state-run mental institution is called Westville Correctional Facility. But when I entered it March the 16th, 1971, it was known as Baby Memorial Hospital for the criminally insane. I was 15 years old. And I was introduced to all of the so-called wonder drugs, and a lot of you not. To this day, I'm still wondering what it was those drugs were supposed to do. And I'm talking about some that I'm kind of sure a lot of you have heard of. Thorazine, Milorel, Haldol, Cogentin. And I also was given a once-a-month shot of Prolixin. But after 3 years, but no one ever told me I was diagnosed with schizophrenia or what schizophrenia is. And after 3 years, the court called me back and they actually released me. I grew up in Gary, Indiana. I went back to Gary, living with my parents, and one beautiful day I saw that Marine recruiter with that dress blue uniform on. And I was it possible I can get one of those uniforms? He told me, sure, come on, go with me. I went with him, signed all the papers. That was on a Thursday. The following Tuesday morning, my feet were on those yellow footprints at the Marine Corps Recruit Depot in San Diego, California. And I am a proud United States Marine. I excelled as a Marine for quite a few years until I was charged with something that I did not do. I was busted in rank, my money was taken. I was given 30 days of correctional custody. It was while I was in correctional custody, I suffered a psychotic break. Talking about mental illness and educating about mental illness, how many of you, because I know I got quite a few college graduates in here, ever heard of the diathesis stress theory of the biopsychosocial model? Which basically states that the correct amount of stress placed upon anyone at the correct time can precipitate the development of a mental health condition. I'm a walking, talking, living, breathing example of it. It happened to me. I was charged with something I did not do, and I was punished for it. That punishment, and I knowing I didn't do it, it did what I call it pop me. Because I do not remember the psychotic. All right, but I read my service medical records. That's what helped me. The date I read my service medical records was May the 12th, 2007. This happened in 1978. Okay, I learned one quick thing, what the word chronic means. All right, and that also mental illnesses don't go away. And that was the day I stopped drinking and drugging. I threw myself into treatment 16 years ago today. And I love treatment. Okay, I'm not ashamed to say it. Treatment has, yes, it has helped me get out off the streets from being homeless. It has helped me to leave illegal drugs and alcohol alone. I even got 15 and a half years since I last smoked a cigarette. So it helps. Plus, I've been married for a little over 5 years. I've been in my home for just about 6 years. So treatment has helped me tremendously. All right. And those who I get that opportunity to train and or just get just like what we are here, I got to always say, treatment is okay to not be okay. Okay? And if a person can get into treatment, something is better than nothing. Teaching coping skills to manage symptoms, stress, building social supports, using medications effectively, and reducing relapses. Participate in daily team meetings, treatment planning meetings, and ITTs as a full member of the team. Yes, those things there, I used to do. I'm not with that team anymore. I left there, I don't know, probably 6 years ago, somewhere in that neighborhood. But I did used to, and all the things that I used to do, homeless, I helped to create a homeless peer support position that is federal at the VA, at Router Bush VA Medical Center. It's been imitated around the country. And I'm not saying that I'm all that in a bag of chips, because you can forget the bag of chips. But anyway, I love doing what I do and to see how these people, when I say these people, I'm talking about my fellow vets, how they come up, how they utilize that creativity and come up and they do other things so that we all can realize we don't want to leave no vet behind. Okay? All right, Maureen?
All right.
All right, and so let's get them. I mean, whatever we have to do to get them, let's get them. Like as you have a license, one of my veteran peer support specialists who I trained, I started with him as a bachelor of social work right before he got his bachelor's degree. He's now licensed after he went through the peer support. He was peer support specialist probably 3 years, okay, at Router Bush. And you said you Grant County. Somebody said Grant County. What's the name of that place? Marion.
Mm-hmm.
All right, the VA up there. Nate Moore. He's the supervisor for the peer support specialist there. He's originally out of Chicago. He's part of that. And Chambers Park?
Mm-hmm.
You aware of Chambers Park?
I think so.
Well, the agency that built Chambers Park, I've been working with them for a long time too. Just like I've been working with CSH for a long time. I was homeless for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I mean, and CSH, anybody in here ever participated in the Indiana Permanent Supportive Housing Institute? Yeah,
Our agency has, yes.
the agency had, have you built a project?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
In Lebanon, Indiana.
Oh, okay. What's the sheriff's name? He just retired, Mike Nielsen.
Lebanon.
Yes, yes, of Boone County Sheriff. All right, man. But anyway, good, thank you. How long has the project been up?
It's been active for about 7 years now.
Good, 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 good. Okay, well, thank you for that. Thank you, thank you. And Ms. Jenna, you can forward the slide when you get a minute. Thank you. But, that is so good. For ever since 2013, if I remember correctly, I have been working with the Indiana Permanent Supportive Housing Institute, which is also put on by Indiana Housing Coalition Development Authority. And I believe, and Jake your boss too?
Yeah.
Yes, and Jake always comes, he got to hang out. But I get to hang out with these good people. I mean, your boss is a great guy, all right? And he ain't in here, I have brown nose, and my nose already brown. You know, all right, hey, but you understand what I'm saying? He, cause Jake does see the value in peer support, all right? Cause I think he's hired a couple of people, like that. But anyway, peers provide support differently because we can offer practical help based on knowledge gained through similar experience, self-disclosure, and incorporating elements of friendship and encouragement. We watch that friendship though. We have to maintain certain boundaries. If we realize that it's best to maintain certain boundaries. Hope and reassurance that they convey, they understand what may seem inexplicable to most non-consumers, and more patience with unusual behaviors. First-hand experience with mental health system provides unique insights and practical skills for accessing services, a different level of connection. And one part on that accord, I will state, and I'm kind of proud of this. One of my fellow vets, I take that back, I'm not kind of proud, I'm very proud of this. One of my fellow vets used to miss a whole lot of therapy appointments and got him to talk with me. And it was something to me simple as he didn't know how to ride the bus. So I asked him, would he feel comfortable if I rode the bus with him? And I rode the bus with him. I had a 2-hour bus, well, probably an hour and 45-minute bus ride with him. So I got a captive audience that I'm also having an opportunity to teach something with. And I did. That was about 3 years ago. He does not miss his appointments anymore. That's peer support. Hand in hand, let's go. If you ready, are you sincere? Let's do our thing. And peer support specialists, this is the sad part, in one sense. Their lived experience comes from things which some people might feel like is the bad things. Substance abuse, homelessness, mental illness, incarceration. But we also turn around and help people experiencing substance abuse, mental illness, incarceration, and homelessness. In 2017, I was presented what's known as the Diamond Service Award by the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention. The acronym called CHIP. CHIP is the second balance of state in the state of Indiana. Indiana balance of state is the other one. It contributes, it works with 91 of the 92 counties in the state of Indiana. CHIP does county number 92. Well, how do I know? Does everybody understand what I just said? There's 92 counties in the state of Indiana. 91 are what we're doing today, the Indiana balance of state. All right. 92 is CHIP, Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention. It's nothing but Marion County. All right. And by the way, I spent 7 years on the board of directors with the Indiana balance of state. That's how I know a lot of the persons here. So, but Peer support is one great thing. I hope everybody can access it or can get some and embrace it. And I mean, if you would like some help setting up the peer support program, let me know. I'll give you one of my cards, because that's something else that I've done. And I love doing it. In Indianapolis, there's an organization called Horizon House. Horizon House is a day center drop-in for persons experiencing homelessness, which will give them a mailbox or a place to get mail, and also a place to take a shower, use the phone, something that can help them to try to alleviate their situation or change their situation. Well, approximately 2 years ago now, we started a peer support program there. Part of that also, this one was funded by Eli Lilly. Eli Lilly put those funds into them, and then when they seen how it was starting to grow, they are now ready to put more funds in and already have. They have to help build, well, they are building a place where it will have 24 more apartments for persons experiencing homelessness. And they will be serviced by those peer support specialists that are working now with a livable wage at the Horizon House. Okay? So those are just some of the good things that peer support can do. I am not proud of the fact that I'm a drug addict, recovering drug addict, or homeless, but I get that opportunity to help others. I'm gonna tell you something. It feels good. As I say, I'm gonna keep it PG, but it feels good. Okay. Yes, it is a total different level of connection. Thank you, Ms. Jenner. Ways we are served by the team benefit. Peer providers often have extensive knowledge of social services available to help others, which is true, and benefit from a level of empathy and understanding about some of the struggles that come with mental health and substance use diagnoses and challenges, and acceptance. Working with and respecting and relating to consumers from an experiential knowledge base. I've been there too. All right. I don't run into too many who might be living with schizophrenia or schizoaffective. But I also have a post-traumatic stress disorder diagnosis. I run into a lot like that. Okay. But I do run into others who have schizophrenia or other severe mental illness, bipolar disorder, major depressive disorder. And we have some who are doing great as peer support specialists. Quite a few, as a matter of fact. Positive role modeling. I see me now, I just fall in love. Okay. I'm gonna just keep it straight up. I do. One of my brothers, I'm the baby. I'm the youngest. I got a brother that's 4 years older than me. He told me one day, man, I like you now. You know, and I mean, I've been trying to process that for the longest, but that's A-okay. I know I could flip it and go the other way, but I'm gonna hang out with my big brother. All right, share coping strategies, aspire to roles that emphasize their strengths and place value on what they have learned through their own recovery journey. That's why I built my business. Okay. Could you move, please, Ms. Jenner? Ways in which peer providers benefit: increased sense of value, confidence, and self-worth. Avenues for personal growth and development, stable employment, development of additional skills, ability to give back and share own experiences to help others recover. That feels so good. Aspire to roles that emphasize their strength and place value on what they have learned through their own recovery journey. A couple of the ladies who I have had the honor to train and work with, they have now been presented that award, that Diamond Service Award. their peer support specialists. This part of what we're gonna talk about in Philly, you know, they chose us to come and talk about that. And that's honored. That's an honor, that's a place of honor. Plus, I know what CSH does, okay? So I feel real good about that. Next slide, please, Jenna. Ways in which agencies and non-peer providers benefit. Educate staff and co-workers and administration, okay? Plus, one of the major parts, and I'm gonna say this, and I hope nobody take it, I forget what's the word, offense to it. Peer support specialists, we're sick. We have people who are sick who want to help other people who are sick, okay? And it works. It works. And one of the aspects of it is for your agency, it can sure make your agency look good. Cause it fights stigma. Everybody has an iota of stigma in them, okay? So, hey, it can fight that stigma. And I'm gonna ask a real out of the way question. Thank you. Anybody in here know somebody or have a family member with a mental health condition or a substance abuse condition? What's it like? What is it like?
It's just, it can be rocky, it's just according to what life is like for them, because stress can bring a myriad of outcomes.
Yes, and also a lot of us have internal stigma where we feel like don't nobody care about us. Don't nobody want to help us. But we have to combat that. And one of the best ways to combat that is with our family. The strongest, most beneficial support is that family support, I believe. Okay, thank you very much for sharing that. Okay, create specialists within your agency on the illness wellness management. Provide insight and understanding to help non-consumers better manage challenging situations with consumers. Help professional staff become aware of their own prejudices and ways they may stigmatize clients. Shift negative attitudes of professionals about poor prognosis of people with severe mental illness. Increase the likelihood that the consumer voice is integrated into planning, evaluating, and developing services. The next slide, please. Conduct organization and team level surveys to determine what staff with employing peer specialists, all staff, not just clinical staff. Purpose is to identify the fears, misconceptions, barriers, and biases that staff may hold. It is not a survey to ask if they like the idea. Use survey data to help develop strategies and training for staff to eliminate those barriers. Bring in peer providers from other agencies to provide question and answer or technical assistance. In November of 2012, President Obama wrote into law, signed into law, the VA's peer support program. And they are the most highest paid. They are the best resourced. And they do get good results. I ain't bragging just on the fact because I'm one. All right, and I serve as a volunteer. And if I wanted a job, I can go Monday morning and get a job. I don't know how many of y'all understand what I'm finna say, but I'm retired. I'm a 100% permanent and total service-connected disabled veteran with special monthly compensation. And I'm also a Capital June Marine recovering from cancers. They'll give me a job in a heartbeat. All I do, but also, I've created so many jobs, but I got a job. I'm going to live with schizophrenia. And I not only want to live with it, I want to live with it to the best of my ability. I don't want to just survive. I want to thrive. And I've been thriving. How many of y'all ever swam with a dolphin? Nobody else in here, other than me, that swam with a dolphin? It was the most funnest thing I ever did in my life. And, probably a day or two later, I kissed a stingray. My wife and I held a stingray, a female stingray, while I was standing in the Caribbean and kissed it. And man, that was one ooh-wee experience. That's living to me. A whole lot better than being in a cell that I do this here, I'm touching wall to wall. Okay, while I do this, I'm touching the ceiling. All right, what I think about, I cannot do because I can't get out this little bitty hole. But I can also, what I can do is try to help others not go down that route. And if you go down that route, try your best not to go back down that route. Yes, sir.
You mentioned that you and others who do this work, you've got the experience that you do and the results. I think I can guess as to why it's been successful, but do you mind speaking on that?
Yes, because as I say, we are in a position to help others coming down the route, the line. Let me give you an example of one. It's because we've walked in their shoes. All right. One guy, and I will not say any names on that equipment, but he walked in. I helped create a program for people just coming in off the streets with the VA. And he came in and he knew me from the streets. And we literally grew up together. And he told me, he said, "Rick, what you doing here?" And I said, "Come on in and have a seat. You'll find out." He came on in and I told part of my story, let him know what I was doing there, and so on and so forth. It was an orientation program. And after I told my story of mental illness and substance abuse and incarceration, he said, y'all don't know this, but I know this man. And everything this man just said is the truth. If he can get clean and sober and stay clean and sober and work with his mental illness, I can too. Today, that man is 9 years clean. He works for the VA. He's also 100% permanent and total disabled. And he owns his own home. Okay? That's one thing that veterans have kind of like a little bit of a advantage over others. Because if your paper is correct or your discharge is correct, you can access what we call the certificate of eligibility. But you know what? Even though we have that, there's also determination for others who are not vets. Because one of those ladies who was just presented I presented it to her, the Diamond Service Award, that lady bought her own home. And you know how she did it? Because of the fact that she no longer drinks or do any kind of illegal drug. She was saving that money. She saved up enough money to put down a down payment. She's in her own home now, and she's in school. And she's a peer support specialist working with others. Do you think peer support works? Mm-hmm. You ladies and gentlemen understand where I'm coming from? Thank you very much for that question also. Any other questions? Because we only have a few more minutes left. Could you advance the slide, please? This is for the human resource people. Create clear a job description, job duty, pay a living wage, consider what counts as experience, involve multiple people in the hiring and interviewing process, avoid tokenism. Don't hire just one peer specialist in your agency. Hire more than one. Okay? Because seriously, peer support needs peer support. All right? We are, as I call us, wounded healers. Okay? And it works, my dear. It works. Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
That's okay. It might be a silly question, but what's a silly question?
Look,
Right. What was the thought behind What's the difference between consumer and non-consumer
A consumer, that
for
word,
you guys? Yeah.
a person who might be experiencing mental health issues or substance abuse issues. And a non-consumer is a person who does not,
Okay. Gotcha.
all right?
Gotcha.
And no such thing as a silly question, brother,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
All right, except for there is one bad one. It's the one you don't ask,
Yes. Yeah.
okay? All right, this is key skills, key, okay. Right person may be a provider who happens to be a consumer. They possess key provider type skills and qualities. Look for all providers, good listening and empathetic. Must be hired into the identified peer role you are hiring for. Skills may vary depending on who the peer is and what they bring to the table, just as any other potential employee. I really do hope that, in so many words, you can find somebody somewhat similar to me, okay? But in one sense, I kind of hope you know. As I stated, I was homeless for over 10 years. I've been living with schizophrenia for over 60 years. All right? I don't know how long I was a drug addict. But I can tell you this much. I have had heroin in Hong Kong and cocaine in the jungles of Colombia. All right? And I spent 7 years at the Indiana State Prison in Michigan City, Indiana. And believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I know people who spent 30 years in that prison. All right? And I read of one man who spent 66. But I hope you don't specifically go looking for that. But you find somebody who has that desire. All right? First and foremost, they have to have 1 year in recovery from a mental health or a substance abuse issue. That is the price of admission. Reason why that 1 year is, and it's steadfast and it's immutable. Reason why that 1 year, the brain starts changing after 1 year away from illegal drugs and alcohol. Okay? The brain starts changing after 1 year in mental health recovery. My clinicians probably know that. Am I right or wrong? All right? I call it, our brain start creating new ruts, new valleys to learn in. All right? To help sense more of synopsis across the valley. And it works, ladies and gentlemen, it works. All right? Any other questions? Y'all got you guys mesmerized or what? Yes, ma'am.
Another reason why it works is because after a year of being away from it, you're no longer thinking in the lizard brain mode. It's more of no longer impulsive thinking because you put that stop, think, react into play. Because I actually used to teach the substance abuse program at an all-male correctional facility, and I was blown away when I taught phase one. When I first read over the material, I felt like this is so simple. They're not going to want to engage with this. And then once I put it into practice, I realized I was also an impulsive thinker in my daily life. So I would have to stop, think, and then react. And I was like, wait, I've been impulsively thinking on things. So, everyone does it, but you get into a higher realm of it when you have used and you're not medicated because those impulsivities can't be controlled.
Yes, ma'am. You're absolutely correct. At least as far as I'm concerned, from a lived experience point of view. All right. Because I did have a relapse after a year. All right. But I have not had any kind of relapses or illegal drugs or alcohol continuously for 16 years as of today. Okay. Thank you. Any other questions? I got 2 more minutes.
So
Yes, ma'am.
I am also a recovering addict
You go, girl.
and alcoholic. And thank you. So I think you're absolutely amazing. My journey started 5 years ago, and I wouldn't be where I was now if it wasn't for people like you.
Yes, ma'am.
They diagnosed me with borderline personality disorder, I no longer take any medications or anything for that. I like to say I'm director there for the Grant County Rescue, and I get to work with people every day and help them. But I'm 5 years clean after 10 years being homeless and 20 years in addiction from the age of like 14. So, yeah, because of people like you.
Thank
I'm
you,
another
thank you.
person.
So I know you want to find you some peer support specialists, don't you?
Yeah, well, I think it would be a good, because we work with like Radiant Health and all them in Grant County, and we have peer support specialists there. My son is actually, he's working with a peer support specialist right now too, so I think it would be very beneficial to have
And
them
this-
directly with the Grant County Rescue Mission.
And the state of Indiana is making, respectfully,
Mhm.
they are right now getting ready, they are revamping the program. They are going to have peers who are mental health, substance, like I am,
Mhm.
but I'm also criminal justice, I'm forensic.
Mhm.
But they also gonna bring up family,
Mhm.
all right? Certified peer support specialist, family,
Yes.
all right?
Yeah, which that would be so in my addiction, I had babies, I had boys, and I lost them all, and now I have them all back. Actually, God blessed me with a new baby. All together, I own a home, I have 2 cars, like all these things that God's blessed me with since being sober, but a family peer support would have been key in the beginning of me getting them back and me trying to develop that relationship all over again after being in addiction for so long and having that distance. Family peer support would be awesome.
Well, hey, it is on the drawing board and ready to kick off. Thank you. Time is up for me,
All right.
ladies and gentlemen. Hey, thank you, thank you, thank you. And also, I can say this to those of you who are trying to put together one. The state is also trying to get monies available, so please keep yourself, abreast of what's going on. All right?
All right, thank you, Ray.
Thank you, thank you.
Session one.